Hey, it is Monday, January 25th. I sent my buddies a message today. I was just like, I'm not up to gaming. Just feeling a bit emotionally drained. Whatever. I'm just caught up in my mind today. And thinking, let's focus on what are the goals? What are the dreams? You may say that I'm a dreamer. What are the dreams? And that's what I'm gonna just talk about. Be real. What do I want? What do I want from life? I want a wife. I'm sick of being single. I grew up with Boy Meets World, really. And that dream of getting your, in his case, elementary school sweetheart. And that was the dream growing up. I was so upset when I was like turning 19 and I'm like, okay, I should be getting married by now. Come on, God, where's the woman? Who's it gonna be? I'm 33 at this point. When I was younger, I definitely wanted to have the dream was, family with kids and all that. And I can still do that. I wouldn't be against having kids necessarily. But it's not really part of the dream. Not really anymore. I'm fine either way. Partially just, I'm like, am I going to be able to keep up with kids? And I'm sure I could manage. But I guess I'm fine either way at this point. But I still definitely, I want to find a nerdy girl that loves Jesus to spend my life with. That idea of finding your best friend and getting to be with her every day. That's still the dream. That's still what I pray for, what I desire. And it hurts. Like I said, I was upset when I was turning 19 and still hadn't found that. Not that at that time I really knew what I was looking for, and at that time I would have settled a lot more for a lot less. Yeah, that's still the dream. Still the prayer. And I want to be able to work for myself, supporting myself with my own creative endeavors. Whether that's just YouTube, I do this vlog. I don't have enough subscribers on it currently to even have a URL of my own yet. It's still just the automatically generated number and letter combination that YouTube assigned. So, it's not really this one, and then the video game channel is even smaller, but the tabletop gaming channel that I've been working on for 6-7 years, something like that. I'm nearing 800 subscribers. 1,000 would let me start earning a little bit of money on it again. I'd like if I could start earning money on that and keep that growing until eventually it could be a significant part of income. And of course there are things like Patreon and such, which I am obviously so far away from that being a worthwhile thing to invest my time in. But as the channel grows, that will not necessarily always be the case. And that's not even the only thing. I'm thinking I did the book. That too. like creative endeavors. Like it's not, I don't need to be like I want to support myself just on YouTube. Like if it's writing and making stuff for games or whatever it may be, I'd like to be able to just really, I want to be my own boss. I don't want to have some other person that's telling me here's what you have to do. I mean, my job as it is offers me decent freedom, but it's boring. But it does allow me freedom with my time off that I don't have to think about it. And so for the time being, I'm appreciative of what I have. It's afforded me to live in at least this condo. So I could be doing a lot worse. But I would definitely like to be able to support myself through just the creative work, the things, the work that I will do whether or not I'm paid, clearly, because it's the work that I have been doing for years, not being paid. Because there are creative endeavors, things that I treat like work. My family always makes comments to me about it, like, you treat your hobbies like a job, and I'm like, I want them to be a job. That's the goal. It's like I'm gonna work at them whether or not it's paying me. But I'd really like if it would. And I ain't trying to get rich. I'm just trying to get by. I don't, the idea, like being rich has never really been a dream. Being able to, my time is worth more than I could imagine someone paying me for it. I value my time higher than logic would dictate someone else would value it, because it means a lot to me. So getting to do what I want with my time would be worth a lot more than any amount of money. The third dream, and one that's gone all over the place in the years, is I want to have a home of my own, and specifically one that I am involved in, I don't know if so much the construction or design of. And that's, again, another dream that has gone back a long time. Like, before, again, it's evolved over time. I have a couple books. Here's one that's easy to grab. This is the Small House book by Jay Schaefer. Involved in the tiny house movement, which is the idea that you can get the plans and you can build a full house on the bed, on the back of like a little travel trailer. That house, with everything that you need for a house, would be smaller than this room that I game with my friends in. It would be smaller. Maybe just over half of the size. If I'm thinking about it. It's a tiny house. And that's going to be, your porch, your living room, your bedroom, your kitchen, your bathroom, your dining room, all of it in that space. And it is fascinating. If you like that kind of, look into that. It's fascinating when you look into the tiny houses. And that was when I was away in school. So only about 11 years ago. That was something I was really into and looking into, because I wanted to have my own space, and I wanted to have an amount of say in the design and layout of that space. And then I decided I liked collecting books. Now before that, I've always liked collecting, but at that time, the big thing I was collecting was movies. In fact, I don't collect movies all that much anymore. I still get some that I particularly like, but I have a lot of movies because at that time, that's what I collected. Like, actively. I have not seen all those movies because I would buy movies faster than I could watch them when I used to regularly watch movies all the time. Now I mostly watch, like, YouTube. I'm having to do effort to watch movies. But I still haven't seen all the movies. And that it looks like it takes up space. However, at that time, away in college, was the point where I started with these. And I made sure that my brain would accept storing my movies in these. It's actually where most of my movies still are. I haven't put them back in the cases as I'm doing my whole watching a movie every week thing. That's the process by which I am moving movies back into their cases as I watch them. So basically the idea was, at that time I'm like, well, I can just move my collection into a very small amount of space. But then I decided I wanted to collect role-playing game stuff. Nerdy stuff. And I love it. I love it so much. So now my dream is to have more of a custom-built full-size house. Or it could be, you know, like I'll watch those. Or watch, you know, barn dominium projects where they basically build a metal prefab building and then just fill the inside with a custom-built house interior with a cheap exterior. Because I don't go outside. I don't care what the outside of the house looks like. But a cool interior. Oh. Of course, there's all the fancy, nice homes. Or even when you look at it, like people that buy... Like, I love watching videos of people that go and they buy old houses. Like, particularly, like, large, historic houses. And they just redo the inside to their heart's content. And that would be the same thing. That point where you're putting that work in and you're making it your own. And that's what I want. I would love, at some point in my life, to get to do that. I would love, like, I have ideas, like, I could draw a layout for what I want. I want a big area to film. I want an area where I have a film set up for gaming with my friends and doing unboxing videos with shelves behind it. And then along that wall, there's a door that leads into like sort of a small room that can just be storage for minis and Dwarven Forge. And beyond that wall is a 2-story area with a bit of like a carved wooden staircase, all sorts of shelves for decorative things that go up along there, with a globe that I could switch out and make a custom globe for my worlds, and whatever world I'm working on, I can have the globe there for my games, custom to that world. And so I have a scene there where I can do like discussion videos, up to a balcony that's above the minis room, where I have another scene to sit and do other discussion videos. And then a door that leads to a upstairs floor that is actually above the main, like, filming, like the main area, which would have, you know, for doing unboxings and games with my buddies. And that room would be the computer and equipment room, so that I could literally feed cables to the cameras that are mounted on the ceiling, down through this room, into the ceiling of the one above. I have thought about it a fair bit. I would love for this, if it could then even be, if it were in more of like a warehouse kind of space where it could be set in, which so this would be if it were built inside, almost like a barn dominium, kind of where you're filling up that area, where it could be set in a few feet, and I can have light boxes behind it and make windows that aren't real windows, but that I can have light coming through that's artificial so I can control it. My head is spun with this. I'd love to have a house with a theater. Just a simple one that seats maybe 8 people. Just something small, but, you know, a bit of raised seating with a big screen and just painted black so that you just focus. I'd love to have either inside or outside some water feature decor when I go places like the zoo and I walk around River's Edge, and I spend as much time looking at the artificial water features as I do the animals. It's because I love that. And whether it was inside or even just a little backyard pond kind of area that's, you know, a koi pond with that, I would love to have something like that. I got a lot of dreams. And I believe at least some will happen. I mean, Alice laughed. "There's no use trying," she said. "One can't believe in possible things." "I dare say you haven't had much practice," said the Queen. "When I was your age, I always did for half an hour a day. Why, sometimes I've believed as many as 6 impossible things before breakfast." I mean, there's other things I'd like losing weight would be a great dream. In fact, one that might help me with that first finding someone to spend my life with dream. And maybe they don't all come true. I mean, to some extent, I definitely view at this point, like, the idea of that custom house and the set and all that, like, that is that not far-fetched? That's really out there. But I'd like it. I'd like it if that could happen. And then I think, you know, a little more likely is probably the income from my creative endeavors. And maybe it never gets to the point where it's really my full-time job and I'm living off of it, but I've worked at it for years and I plan to keep doing so. And maybe it does at least get to the point where between my making little books and doing my videos, it at least supplements the income. And that would still be a portion of that dream coming true and still valuable to me. And today I'm really just feeling lonely and praying so hard about that first one. About finding a nerdy girl who loves Jesus to marry and spend my life with. That's what I'd like. But they're all dreams. And so I trust them to God. And I know that God loves me more than anyone could. And the hardest thing is just trusting His timing, because, man, do I not understand it. But I'm gonna keep dreaming. And I'm sure if the dreams come true, I will come up with new dreams to dream. Because even simple things like the fact that I have this condo, the place of my own, is a dream. The fact that I got to move out of my mother's basement was a dream, and that came true. And so now dreams get broader, and they get bigger, and they're going to keep getting bigger. I'm going to just keep praying that they come true. That's me just rambling on about the dreams and prayers that I have for my life. Hopefully I get to keep vlogging, and hopefully I'll get to share as some of them may come true. Thank you for joining me, and join me as my journey continues.